explore careers, and get summer jobs. This Field of Dreams event has been targeted and focused on summer jobs for youth. And so all the money that we raise goes into funding that program, getting youth jobs, mentorship, experience, career exploration, all of that. So anyway, Field of Dreams is just a wonderful event that companies get to bring their employees. So it's also, in addition to raising money for a good cause, it also is a way for companies to have fun with their employees, give back to their employees, and say, here's a once in a lifetime experience to play softball on Fenway's field, run the bases at Fenway Park. And, each company can bring about 22 people who participate in the game in the dugout, but they can also bring friends and family to sit in the stands, to watch, to get tours of Fenway, face painting. We have activities. So it's just a really fun night for all involved.
I have had the opportunity to do a softball game at Fenway Park. One of the biggest thrills of my entire life. Unfortunately, the team we were matched up with a bunch of ringers. My goodness, they were fantastic. I did make some plays. I was pretty happy with myself. But by the way, I want to let people know, as close as you think that left field wall is, you ain't reaching it. That is a long way to hit a ball. There's so much fun. I mean, running those bases, standing there and hearing the announcer saying, how about it's crazy. It's such an amazing
thing. It is. Yeah, you're hearing your name on the announcer says
on the jumbotron.
On the jumbotron, seeing your face and your it's an exciting night. And this happens to be on Friday evening. So from 3 to 9 is the window for Field of Dreams. Each game is about an hour, so companies get slotted within that time frame. And again, it's an amazing team building, give back to the community, fun event.
So before we talk about the whole deal, I want to mention this several times. If you are in an organization, and we have a lot of great organizations, financial institutions, I mean, there are so many places around Boston that have great outreach. They like to do community events. And this is the type of community event where you do some fundraising and you get out there on this field. And you talk about team building. There's no better team building than saying, oh yeah, you and I, we were part of the Battery at Fenway Park. I drop into my Hyde Park accent. So how do people get out there? What's the process by putting a team together, and how you would raise enough money to get your team out there?
So it can be done a couple of ways. So to sort of field a team, if you will, it's $20,000. And so what we have a variety of ways that companies or organizations or even people come in, which is you can sponsor it in whole. Companies do give those kind of charitable donations, or you can pool money within a company or an organization. Everybody gives, 20 people give $1,000, or multiple companies come in together, small businesses or something come together and share that cost. But that's all it is a $20,000 sort of team sponsorship, and they sign up through our organization. We take care of, getting everything organized. So they just come to play.
Are donations made to this tax deductible?
Absolutely.
See, because that's a good thing.
Yes. One, because it's coming to ABCD, but it's actually specifically to support our youth programming and the summer jobs programs that we've had. And the Red Sox, as you mentioned, have been a tremendous partner in this over the last 20 plus years, because they've allowed us to play on the field and use the field as this kind of community engagement and community event and community awareness raising of ABCD and its youth employment programs, as well as, give companies an opportunity to give back and have fun.
I tell you something, every single year when I do my taxes and they say, okay, you owe this much. And when they wake me up after they show me how much I owe, and they always say, well, did you make any charitable contributions? When you can direct say everyone on the team puts $1,000. That's $1,000 that you can take off your taxes. Direct them to exactly where you want to go, and that's something that comes. I mean, that's an amazing thing. Okay, I'm going to take $1,000. I'm going to have an experience at Fenway Park. I'm going to direct my money directly into this community and the job programs, rather than just say to the government, there you go, do whatever you want with it.
Absolutely.
Direct. It's one of those things where people just don't explore charitable donations enough, and it's a way that you really can direct the money to your community, save some money off your taxes, and have an experience that is just amazing. So, look, this is a really good deal, and again, you're addressing the community and the opportunities. First off, how'd you guys connect with the Red Sox? The Red Sox Foundation over the years, the Red Sox partnerships, they do a lot for the community, and it's funny, the Red Sox mean, I mean, it's as much part of Boston as anything you see. You know what I mean? My parents talk, my grandfather was a major league pitcher in the 1920s. He played for the Washington Senators, pitched against Babe Ruth. So baseball was in our blood. But my mom tells me stories about she was in love with Ted Williams, and she would go over to the park and try to see Ted. My dad played baseball in Fenway as part of the state high school championship. I mean, it's just one of those things. Every generation of Boston has a big part of their heart in that park. And how did you guys connect?
Well, it started before my involvement, but there are two wonderful people that one who used to work at ABCD, his name is Bob Elias, and then another gentleman, John Sasso, who's been a friend of the organization for a long time. Bob Elias really sort of created this idea and had this idea to play on the field. And so through many of his relationships with people like Bob Ryan, who has also been an incredible supporter of both the Field of Dreams and our Hoop Dreams event. We do another event at the Garden, at TD Garden, to play basketball.
One of the all-time greatest sports writers ever. I mean, a TV personality. I used to watch him on ESPN, the sports reporters. Bob Ryan, again, opinionated, tough, but part of it's so funny. You think about my years with Larry Bird as my hero. Part of it was having Bob Ryan report on all of it. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So having someone like that behind it's very special.
So, folks like him and others, again, just took that ball and have run with it for 20 plus years, really, being able to continue the Red Sox relationship through different owners and different management and all of that. It's because of the commitment of the Red Sox, the commitment of community, and commitment of folks like Bob Elias, who's retired now, and others who continue to see this as a critical way to raise funds and do good.
No, absolutely. By the way, if you're interested in this, abcdfieldofdreams.org. You can email events@bostonabcd.org if you want to get information. Or you can also call 617-348-6244. And again, the event, again, I can speak to this. I've done an event, and I can't remember what I think it might have been because we're a sponsor at Fenway Park, whatever, but sitting in that dugout, taking swings, looking at the green monster as you're standing in the batter's box. It's a feeling that I have pictures. I look back at it. I'm like, that is so incredible for me, because you've watched so many great events happen on that field, and you can help support the organization. And again, I'm sure you had a first job as a kid. It's not always easy these days to find it. I was able to get one through YMCA years ago as a camp counselor. And it made a huge difference because you find out a lot about yourself through summer jobs. Talk about how that program works and why it's so important to get these kids in these communities opportunities to find out how much, because the thing, when you get your first opportunity to work, it really changes your mindset as a young kid.
Absolutely. As you said, I think all of us have had a first summer job when we were a teenager. And it is so important to set the foundation for what work means for the rest of your life. And I had a job at the Boston Public Library through the city. I got a city summer job, stacking books and this and that. And so it really is a way for young people to be exposed to work. be exposed to what it means to work with others in a professional setting, whatever that is. And when I say professional, some of my friends were at the parks, or doing, as you said, working at camps. So just a work setting, whatever that is, exposes young people to getting to work on time, communicating with your boss and with your peers. It sometimes is an exploration of, do you like, sometimes it's a business. Some people work in a bank, some people work in a community-based organization. So it's exposure to the different kinds of work. Yeah. And as we all know, every teenager needs a little bit of money, either for their own pocket or to help their family. So what we know is that many, and I was the same when I was growing up, you're helping to pay for, if not bills, you're paying for something that you need, that your mom, your dad, your caregiver doesn't have to put out money for it. That pair of jeans you need, the shoes you need for school or what have you. So it really, it also gives young people something to do in the summer. I mean, camps only last so long sometimes. I mean, you've outgrown camps. You're a 15, 16, 17-year-old. You need a little bit of something different. So it's a real way to spend the summer, earn a little money, get some exposure. It's an absolute for any teenager is to have a summer job.
No, absolutely. Well, again, Sharon Scott Chandler, President and CEO of ABCD Boston, or Boston ABCD, website bostonabcd.org. This is what we're talking about. These jobs, these opportunities for young people in the city are helping. Part of what happens with Field of Dreams is you're going to support this program. So, we talk about finding out about your organization, meeting people. Go talk to the person in your organization and say, hey, we got a team builder here. We're going to help the community. We're going to go play at Fenway Park. And I have to say park because if I say park, I'm not being me. It's really such a cool thing. So again, the event happening on Friday, May 29th between 3 and 9 p.m. Teams will play on the hallowed ground of Fenway Park. And what you have to do is fundraise, get the team together in this payment that you put in is tax deductible and goes to support programs for kids in Boston. As a kid who grew up in Boston, I know the opportunities make a huge difference for you. And again, ABCD is an organization which, whatever you're thinking about in Boston, education, food, elder services, financial support, health, how about housing, immigration integration, all of this stuff is supported by ABCD. So again, thank you for joining us, and we're happy to lend our support to the program, the event, your organization. Fenway Park, man, come on, get out there, support this organization.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And again, the way to get in touch with this,
abcdfieldofdreams.org.
Thank you for being here, Sharon.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up this morning at 8, it's Saturday Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razer on WEEI.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
In construction, the best pros don't just take any job, they join the right team. Cranshaw Construction is hiring superintendents, project managers, and VDC professionals at all experience levels. Build projects that matter. from multifamily housing to life science and corporate interiors, right here across Boston and the surrounding area. Think like an owner, do what it takes, and build your career. Find your next role at Cranshaw.com. That's Cranshaw.com.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Baseball is back in Boston, and so is the Shaw's and Star Market Grand Slam Summer Sweepstakes. This year, entering is easier than ever. Just redeem your grocery reward points of the Shaw's or Star Market for You app for your chance to win free groceries for a year and other amazing prize experiences. Want to earn points faster? Clip the 4X coupon in the For You app and stock up on your favorites from Coca-Cola, Monster, Hood, and KM. The more points you redeem, the more chances you get to win. See official rules at shaws.com or starmarket.com/Grand Slam.
From the Catches Law Injury Attorney Studios. Every game, all season, the Sox play here. 93.7 WEEI-FM and HD1, Lawrence, Boston, and Odyssey Sports Station. This is Saturday Morning Brew with Billy Jaffe and Andrew Razor Raycroft. Saturday Morning Brew on WEEI is brought to you by Apex Entertainment in Marlboro with 100,000 square feet of pure fun. Now, here's Jaffe and Razor on WEEI.
And welcome in to Saturday Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Got a special guest filling in because Razor is on the road. Road Razor. Not to be confused with Road Rage. It's Road Razor on the go. So Judd Surratt in the saddle for this hour here on Saturday Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Thank you for coming in. I'd say, you missed out on your beauty sleep, but I've known you for a long time, and that ain't the truth, buddy. So any amount of sleep for any of us isn't helping. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me. The hair quality on the show has gone way down.
I know. I mean, seriously, if this is not a hair club for men or something type, whatever the brand is, whoever it is, which I'm sure they have one of their own doctors here, so maybe we can get but the problem is for you and I, we'd be in the chair for about 19 days. Forget, 1 hour. It would be too long. Anyways, listen. Boston Bruins season is over. They lose last night 4-1 to the Buffalo Sabres. They lose the series 4-2. We're going to get, and by the way, Razor's going to call in. Razor was up very early, getting on the bird to get to where he needs to go. But he's going to join us in the second segment, so we'll have a chat with him about the series. We're going to talk really more about the series. Yeah, there's some stuff about what it means for the team and everything. But Razor and I are going to do a big full pod during the week, probably Tuesday night, the year in review. So I want to go more over this series and this and what it means for what it was about for the team, what happened, what didn't happen, all that stuff. We're going to take some calls. 617-779-7937. We already got one lit up. We'll take a couple of calls here to, assuming some people are up. But Judd, let's just, we're going to talk. We're going to BS about hockey like we've done since 1990 or 1987, 88, basically. In case you didn't know, Judd and I were college mates at the University of Michigan. That's where we first met. Judd doing play-by-play, me moving ass cheek left and then to the right on the bench, playing for Red Berenson, having a good time. And first ever game that I broadcast, senior year, with one Judd Surratt. First ever game. It was fun.
Loved doing those games at Yost. That was so much fun. Having an opportunity to do the bean pot sort of brought me back to some of that stuff.
This year, yes.
So that was a ton of fun. But, since you wanted to talk about the series and a little bit with what happened across those 6 games for the Bruins, I started thinking about the Frank Sinatra song that the Bruins would blare at the end of games. That's life.
Yeah.
Flying high in April, shot right down in May. And I know in the big picture, like the growth that the Bruins had from September to the end of the regular season, but then in those last 2 weeks of the regular season leading into the playoffs, you can see how far they've come and how far they need to go. And I know that's something that you and Razor are going to talk about. But when I think about the series in particular, I think you can easily make an argument that the Bruins should have been up 2-0 heading back to Boston. If not for the way the last 8 minutes played out in Game 1. Because as Marco Sturm mentioned, and I know that you remember this, I think 5 of the 6 periods that the Bruins played in Buffalo to start the series, that was basically the template.
Yeah.
But they were unable to bring that template home.
Yeah.
And across the 6 games, if you want to go game by game and sort of break it down, because I know that's something that you and Soph and Barry talked about, and Brick Razer and I talked about after the game, that whether it was the inability to win on home ice, the small margins, the missed opportunities, something that Nikita Zadorov had echoed here today, I think all those things conspired against the Bruins, and that's why they're done for the season.
Yeah, no question. They had chances last night, not enough chances. We showed it. Listen, okay, for a few things, and this is where you got to deal with me because I'm not a real host. I'm all over the place. All right, but
you've been hanging out with the Hurricane too long.
I have, yes. The Bruins, the home issue is real. It's real. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't say, and I know we can sit here, not you personally. You can say, well, road teams are winning a lot more than they are normally, and they are. And in the past, it's different. But it's been too often for the Bruins. It just has. Okay, we'll get into that. We'll talk about that. Charlie McAvoy talked about it. We got the clip from him. We're going to play that. He was honest as all heck about it and direct about it. And they should be. You got to win at home. Forget having a 650 win percent. Like, I don't remember what the actual winning percentage of Bruins had at home during the regular season, but it was number 2 best record on home ice overall.
29-11-1.
Awesome. You know what that means come playoff time now? Zippo.
So including last night's game, because the road team won all 3 games last night.
Yeah.
The road teams here in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs are 23-21.
Okay, great. What did your parents used to say? Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean you've got to do it. Right? I've taken that to my kids, too. That is one thing as a parent that I think is okay to take from your parents from one generation. The rest, oftentimes, when I say stuff to my kids, I'm like, why am I saying it? It sounds just like my parents, and it's awful. But that's so true. And this is Boston. And maybe that's just an arrogant, stupid comment. I don't care. It's different, man. You work so hard during the regular season to be a good, not a great team, a good team, a team in transition, a team growing, all that stuff. You took care of home ice all season long. Come playoff time, they didn't look confident at home, especially the last 2 first periods against Buffalo. Striking to the point where you're like, okay, I'm always one to say there's somebody else in the picture too. Buffalo was good, really good. They were better on the road as well, by the way. But the fact that Boston in the last 2 first periods, the Bees couldn't get it going, couldn't say, we know that Buffalo's going to do this and we need to do that. That was bothersome for me. It was. And to me, that was very indicative. You can't play chasing hockey regularly in the playoffs, Judd. You know it. You can't.
Well, Marco Sturm had stressed it in particular here in the playoffs that he said when we have a good first period, we know we're going to have a good game.
Right.
And, I think you can include the 3 first periods, all 3 that they played, because even in Game 3, the Bruins came out tight.
I agree.
They were not executing. Yep. And as a result, because they weren't executing, they weren't going tape to tape, that allows Buffalo to get to its game. Nikita Zadorov talked about it. I know you probably had those conversations with him, that puck management was going to be at a premium in this series. But the Bruins had an issue with that, certainly in Game 3, definitely in Game 4. And you saw certain instances of that here in Game 6. And because of that, the Bruins, as a result, had to play from behind in Games 4 and 6. And, yes, chasing hockey is losing hockey. The other thing that Marco Sturm added, we're a much better team when we're in front.
Yeah.
Because they are not built to outscore some of their problems.
And that was interesting because, not interesting, that was real, but remember during the season, I won't speak for you, but I know Razer and I talked about it. We did not think they would have the kind of offense that they did this year, at least in September, October. Was it going to be their number one biggest issue? Maybe. We didn't know, right? As you analyze, preview the team, where are all the points going to come from? We felt we knew that David would get some. We hoped that Morgan would get some. Geeky would get some like he did last year. And again, we're not going into the full year in review thing right now. But the fact is, a lot of guys stepped up and they had offense by committee. They did. To the point where you're like, holy, you know what? Where's this coming from? Meaning, how's this happening? They did it because of the way they played. The pucks in deep, such a hockey cliche. The working the walls, side to side, change the point of attack, behind the net. It was so obvious how the Bruins had to generate their offense, and to their credit, they figured it out. Now, again, there's another team on the ice here. In the playoffs, Buffalo put the kibosh on a lot of that, but I also think the Bruins started getting into their own heads about what they needed to do or were able to do, and then you could almost see them thinking their way around the ice, hoping their way around the ice. Okay. Therefore, they weren't able to create. We showed in the second period the amount of times the Bruins were able to generate some offense, and they all started with pucks below the goal line. That was it. And they got away from that. I'll give some credit to Buffalo's top 4D, and I think that's where you see a bigger deficiency. People talk about the Bruins not with enough guys up front being able to score. You start your offense from the back end with your breakouts. You think the Bruins didn't have that enough in this series. Buffalo won the series in my eyes by their D crew. They did in the end.
Well, they have 4 elite defensemen. And just thinking back to last night's game, so when the Bruins were starting to make their push, both in the second period and early in the third period before Zach Benson scored, not only were pucks getting in, but Buffalo was turning them over. They were, you could sense there was some nervousness on the Buffalo end. This is before the Benson goal. Mm-hmm. The Bruins were making their push. As Brick alluded to and Razer last night, when the Bruins would play the rim game, Buffalo had some issues getting those pucks out.
Always.
They had pucks in full control, and they were turning them over, and you were generating some opportunities. I think, and I think about all these quotes during across the 6 games that start to resonate, especially now. David Pasternak had mentioned, listen, if we're going to get some more opportunities against Alex Lyon or the Buffalo net, we need to recover pucks.
Yeah.
There are opportunities that are there, and for the Bruins, most of the time it was one and done. Yes, they did have some good single looks. Think of Casey Middlestat in the first period last night.
Breakaway-ish. Yeah, you're right.
And Alex Lyon was able to make that stop, and then he almost had a second opportunity to the right side of the net, at least if you're looking at Alex Lyon right there, and he was unable to finish. But the Bruins didn't have enough of those second opportunities. And the other thing, since you mentioned it, Billy, that was a big part of the Bruins' success was the power play. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a whole lot of opportunities in the series. Overall, I think, what did they score? They scored twice on the power play. They didn't have a single opportunity last night. And maybe you could have called a minor penalty or 2 on Buffalo early on.
But Buffalo realized they couldn't play that game. They didn't want to.
No, and the Bruins went 2 for 16 in the series. And I think in many ways and I know you're going to look at the big picture maybe a week from now here with Razer or on your next pod, but so much of the Bruins' offensive success relied on the success of their power play. Yeah, it started to dip after the Olympics, but it ended 9th during the regular season. This was a power play the year before that was 28th in the league. And those guys that man the power play, they were fueled by a lot of that success.
No question. And when I say that's okay, I mean, for a team that is figuring itself out and everything this year like the Bruins did, you have to rely on your special teams in many ways. You do. It becomes – because if the penalty kill stunk for a while, but you need those – you need to get that energy from your special teams. And that's where your top guys can get worn out too, the amount that they end up playing.
Well, and let's also go back to that because – the Bruins didn't have the puck enough to go back to the point that you were talking about earlier to play from the hash marks down or play that half ice game.
Yeah,
that they didn't force Buffalo to take some minor penalties.
No, they didn't, and that's where Buffalo killed plays. Neutral zone, and just inside their own blue line. Again, the mobility of their defense was significant. Their back pressure significant. Okay, when they were good, that's what they felt in Game 5 that they were crappy. They said that was our worst game that we played because all of a sudden it was their worst game. And the Bruins took advantage of it, and 52 minutes in game one. Even though the Bruins, it wasn't perfect on the road in Buffalo, they were giving up shots. They weren't giving up crazy plays to the Buffalo Sabres. The Bruins were still, they had room getting through and all that. So Buffalo, when they decided to play their way between back pressure and, again, the mobility of the defensemen, shutting down the Bruins, not allowing them to get it deep, or if they did get it deep, Bruins were changing because they were sucking wind to get off the ice, and then Buffalo came back the other way. All right, listen, we got to get to break here. All right, this is they make me do this. All right, we have a call coming up. All right, 617-779-7937. We'll take the one call, and then we're going to have Razer call in from Parts Unknown. Razer got to where he's going. We'll talk to him about the series as well. We'll get into everything with that. But for now, David Azer, who's here, our newfound hockey fanatic, David Azer, started the year like, hockey, puck, who knows?
It's because of you guys.
There he goes. All right, he's into hockey this year. But for now, besides talking about hockey, which he'll mention, he's going to tell you what else is trending now.
The exclusive home for Patriots Monday and Friday.
Now, here's what's trending on WEEI.
The Bruins were eliminated from the playoffs after falling to the Sabres 4-1 in Game 6 last night. David Pastrnak had the lone goal for the Bruins, while Jeremy Swayman made 22 saves in the loss. The Bees now look ahead to the NHL Draft Lottery on Tuesday, where they can receive the Maple Leafs first-round pick as long as it does not fall in the top 5. The Celtics are getting set for Game 7 with the 76ers tonight. The Seas have a clean bill of health as they hope to escape this first-round matchup after dropping Games 5 and 6. Tip-off from TD Garden is at 7 p.m. The Red Sox won the series opener against the Astros 3-1 last night. Jake Bennett got the win in his Major League debut, pitching 5 innings of 1-run ball with 3 strikeouts. Jarren Duran hit his second home run of the season in the win. They continue their series later today. Connolly Early gets the start against Spencer Arrighetti. You can hear the call of the game right here on 93.7 WEEI and across the Shaw's and Star Market Red Sox radio network. Shaw's, proud to be local since 1860. The Mass Mutual pregame show with Joe Weil begins at 3:10 p.m., followed by first pitch at 4:10. I'm David Azer. That's what's trending now on WEEI and WEEI.com.
93.7 WEEI.
Best sports city in the world, Boston.
New England Sports Original.
You have a large sum of cash and it's not earning interest. Then start making money with your money. Open an Elite Money Market account at Eagle Bank. Maintain a minimum daily balance in Eagle Bank's Elite Money Market and earn a 3.49% annual percentage yield. Remember, with Eagle's Elite Money Market, your account is fully insured by the FDIC and DIF. But this rate might not last forever, so start earning a 3.49 APY on your savings now. Open an Elite Money Market account at Eagle Bank.
Eagle Bank. Eagle Bank.
Annual percentage yield is available as of 1/10/26. The Elite Money Market is available to newly deposited funds to Eagle Bank. Minimum balance to open the account is $20,000. For Eagle Bank transfers, a minimum of $20,000 if new money is required. APY is variable and subject to change without notice. If the account balance drops below $20,000, the interest rate and APY revert to 0%. Fees may reduce the earnings on this account. Offer may be withdrawn at any time. Eagle Bank, member FDIC, member DIF.
In construction, the best pros don't just take any job, they join the right team. Cranshaw Construction is hiring superintendents, project managers, and VDC professionals at all experience levels. Build projects that matter, from multifamily housing to life science and corporate interiors, right here, across Boston and the surrounding area. Think like an owner, do what it takes, and build your career. Find your next role at Cranshaw.com. That's Cranshaw.com.
Allstate is Massachusetts' trusted auto insurer, protecting cars across the state, from Boston to the Berkshires. We're by your side when you need us most, providing you with affordable auto coverage you can rely on. So, switch to Allstate today, and you could save an average of $713 on auto insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. Based on the national average annual savings for new customers surveyed in 2024, savings vary, subject to terms and availability.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Saturday Morning Brew on WEEI is brought to you by Apex Entertainment in Marlboro with 100,000 square feet of pure fun. Now, more of Jaffe and Razer on WEEI.
All right. And, welcome back in. Morning Brew, Jaffe and Razer. Surratt in the Razer seat today, but Razer is going to be calling in a moment. We're going to get him for this segment. Let's see if the guy's caffeinated. I don't even know if he went to sleep last night. I don't know if a couple of our buddies went to sleep last night. Did you go to sleep? You're a sleeper.
My watch says I didn't.
Yeah, I did for a bit. Of course, they woke up early still. All right, Bruins lose last night 4-1. They lose the series 4-2 to the Buffalo Sabres, a better team, Buffalo Sabres, than the Boston Bruins. Let's take one call. We'll do one call quickly here before we get Razer. And Maria, welcome into Saturday Morning Brew, Jaffe and Razer.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen. A very not unexpected but still disappointing end to the season. And Billy, I couldn't agree with you more about the home ice situation. It is really abysmal. And I don't understand if it's a mental issue that is happening with the players getting too tight on home ice, but that needs to be figured out. But my question stems around Pasta's post-game comments last night about, now being 30 years old and not having, more than maybe one opportunity to sniff at a cup. And do you think that is a message to management to say, please get me some help here? Because they need people that can score. They lost these games because they couldn't score. And I'm with you on building from the back end defensively, but come on, this kid is going to be wasted here if you don't get him some help. So, thanks for a great season.
Thank you, Maria. You know what? Before we get to our comments on it, David, you got the Pasternak comment right here. We'll play it for you. Go ahead, and we'll talk about it.
No, of course, it's disappointing. I'm turning 30 in a couple of weeks, so I had one sniff at the cup so far, and it's getting harder every single year. That's what that's what I tell the young guys now. That's what Bergie and those guys tell you when I was young. So, and when you're younger, you look at it way differently than when you are 30. The season is blink of an eye. Like I remember, being young, the season is forever. January comes, you feel like it should be over, and when you're older and you have family and you have outside life, it's a blink of an eye. So you don't want to waste any opportunity.
All right. Before we get to it, let's bring David. Can we bring Razer in now? All right, great. We're going to bring Razer in. Razer just turned 31. Or at least he looks that way, too, right? You probably feel like 61 right now, which is closer to my age.
You're going to have to get some Grecian formula if you're 31.
Morning, fellas.
Morning, Razer. All right, so
right now,
let's get into it. It's a valid question. And it was a comment. It was honest. It was very forthright, honest. David Pasternak talking about how quickly it goes by. By the way, anybody's interested in getting Pasta a birthday gift, May 25th. Is his 30th birthday, so happy early birthday to him. All right, Razer, so as we welcome you in, is he sending a message? I wouldn't say, you know what? He's making it clear. I mean, I wouldn't call it blasphemous. I would call it honest right there, and that he knows that time is flying by, Razer, for him. And I think between last year and this year, and while he did his play on the ice very differently, goal scoring versus assisting, he led the team again in points, and I think he needs some help. How's that for an obvious comment? Welcome in, Razer. How you doing?
I'm great. Okay, so like the comment itself, I think that's just when you're about to turn 30 in this league, you do feel old all of a sudden. I did think it would. He's lucky he got to a Game 7 in 2019. There's 100 guys or 200 or 300 guys in the league that would do anything to have gotten that close. So I do. I think you just realize as you get older, you have kids, like all those things you said, that it does get hard. And I think we all know this roster was far from perfect. They did a lot with it, the coaching staff, the players, the leaders, to get as far as they did. And if they're going to take another step, there has to be a lot of work done over the summer to get to another level, because what we're seeing from the playoffs and the 9 teams that are left right now, and it's soon to be 8, are they're on another level.
I do think it's a call for more. Hey, we need more here. I think they know that, by the way. I don't think that's exactly a
I don't
shock.
think that he has to tell them that.
I know.
I'm sure.
No, not at all.
That Cam and Don definitely see that David Pasternak's about to turn 30. And he needs to be surrounded by more weapons. There needs to be more depth. I know, Billy, you wanted to talk about the series in general, and we talked about the 4D for Buffalo and how elite they were and how much they were a driver for the Sabres' success. But you also look at some of the forwards that they have, and they have compiled a lot of talent over the years, and the Bruins need to add. They need difference makers along with David Pastrnak.
Yeah, no question. And that's going to be harder this year. It's going to be, considering the cap has gone up. More teams have more money. You're going to have to get creative. But I do think, there's ways to do it. And the Bruins, in theory, have a lot of draft capital. What I mean, in theory, we're going to find out come Tuesday, right? All of a sudden, Tuesday night becomes a huge night for the Boston Bruins. Do they get the Toronto Maple Leafs pick, or don't they? Maybe that's why Razor's up in Toronto. Razor, can you rig something for us, buddy? You got pull up there.
I got the commissioner on line 1 here.
Perfect.
Ready to make those balls sing.
Excellent. Yes, that would be great. Listen. All right, so Razor, we're talking more about the series and the big picture. You and I will sit down a couple of days and do a year-end review show. But, the Bruins starts the last couple of games, not acceptable per me, not speaking for you or for Judd, not good the first periods. The Tuck goal at 3:25 of the first period. They come, darting down the ice. There's a misread. Charlie McAvoy ends up going over to Dahlin and leaving Alex Tuck alone as a goalie. The play, right? The play is you got to let your goalie go one-on-one with that shot from the left side, and you got to get the stick of Tuck on off to your glove side, correct?
Oh, yeah, no question. That unfortunately, that play looked similar to what we saw with the man-on-man coverage in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
In October and early November, when they were struggling to get that under control. And I think that goes to their tightness. They almost, you talk about the starts, the couple of the starts that they had, especially the last 2, I guess, on home ice. They just wanted it too much. And the worst thing you can do in the Stanley Cup playoffs is want it too much, because you're going to get out of your rhythm. You're going to get out of your position at different times, and you're going to just try and do too much. And in that play, Charlie tried to do too much. They had gotten to the point where they were willing to give that up when they were playing well. Dahlin's a left-handed shot. He's down the left wing. There's not a really good angle. He didn't have a lot there. And the only thing he would have gotten out of a high-danger chance there was to leave your man in front. And unfortunately, Charlie did that.
Yeah, it was wide open. I mean, Swayman's not going to stop that short, hard pass from Dahlin over to Tuck there. That's just not possible.
Well, we'll go to the second goal, because I know, Razor, you and I had a chance to look at this during the intermission. I think the other differences in the series were the Sabres' ability to not only get traffic out in front, but to get shots through.
Yep.
That was something that the Bruins across those 6 games weren't able to do successfully.
They weren't, and that's been, there's been different times. Listen, the Bruins D don't score a ton of goals, right? Charlie had a career year this year point wise, but they're not at the top of being able to sift pucks through. They do it a little differently offensively, and I think what you see come playoff time is not only did the 4 guys for Buffalo do a great job getting out of the zone and one-man breakouts at different times with their legs, but what they do really well is they open up lanes. And yeah, the back view is unbelievable of that second goal that I saw this morning with the 4 bodies in front of the net and Samuelsson able to get it past that first layer of David Pastrnak. When you have a forward down in front like Pavel Zach, he's just not used to fronting in that position. And that's the play there. He's got to take that in the shin pads, but unfortunately it's just not where he usually is.
So we had Marty Biron on the series preview show 2 weeks ago, Razer, our good buddy, and he did say, and he was dead accurate about how the high cycle game of the Buffalo Sabres had improved dramatically. They might not be a low cycle game like the Boston Bruins, meaning using the below the goal line. They were there, but he said the high cycle game has become something, and that play right there to me was it was a perfect example of it, Razer, about how well they moved. Now you need the mobility on your back end to be able to make that happen. And Judd and I talked in the first segment, and we talked about how the difference in the top D for Buffalo, for me at least, greater than the Bruins. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, they've built their team around their back end. Everybody gives Tage Thompson all the credit, but it's their defense, to me, that has done it. And therefore, they can do that high cycle. And that makes it tough because you said it, that man-to-man defense, that's where you have the more breakdowns more than anything, though, right? Up top, then down low. That's what we saw earlier in the year.
Yeah, and on the flip side, why Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs for 100 years is because they've had those young D up there making mistakes, doing those high cycles, and they've caused so many odd man rushes over the last couple of years. And for whatever reason, whether it's their maturity, the coaching, making a couple of different adjustments, or whatever that is, at the end of October, November, they figured it out. And that's the difference for their game, is that they didn't turn the puck over. The Bruins really weren't able to take advantage after the first couple of games where David was able to get in behind them. There weren't any rush chances the rest of the series. And if you don't get 2-on-1s against Buffalo, it's really hard to match the offense that they can create.
First 4 games, Judd, I felt that Bowen Byram was their best defenseman by far. And then I thought the last 2 games we saw Dahlin step up. I do. And I thought Samuelsson had, like last night, their top 4 all played really well. You guys agree about that? I thought they all played. In fact, I thought Owen Power got better. I thought he was very quiet early on. He's big, he's long, he's not very physical. And by not being physical against him, which the Bruins weren't able to, he actually got to his game as well.
No, I did think Dahlin got much better in Game 5 and Game 6. Yes. He was pretty quiet in the first 4 games. And just thinking back to the regular season, remember, the numbers from the regular season don't always translate. But Buffalo, as a group on the back end, tied for 3rd among total points among defensemen, tied for 2nd in goals. That's where they got a lot of it, and it's a 5-man attack that they get involved. I know you talked about the high cycle, their ability to create those one-on-ones, to be able to beat guys up top, and all of a sudden, now you've got to make some decisions on what you need to be able to do. The Bruins did a better job of that and controlling some of those defensemen in Buffalo than they did in Boston.
No question about it. Razer, what do you think about the Bruins' young guys and as a group in the playoffs? Just looking at the playoffs, the Fraser Mintons, Murat Husnudinov. What did you think of some of the young guys play overall?
Well, I think you saw that they learned that there's another level come playoff time. I think they learned, again, to get inside on those. Listen, again, you talk roster management, right? Like you talk about how great the Buffalo D are. The 2 first overall picks and a 4th overall pick. So that's difficult to do organically. But what you saw from the young guys was that the ice shrunk in a big way. And we talked a lot about Fraser Mitten's game, and there was offensive spurts, but what he was really being valued for as a young guy is his 200-foot and his smarts and his ability to play with anybody on the ice. But he just couldn't create offensively because of what was going on, because of the 5-on-5 play, because of how quickly the ice was closing in. I thought Murat continued to bring his energy level. I didn't really see much of a drop in his game. But he didn't finish either.
Right.
It wasn't like he had a lot of chances. So again, from kind of top to bottom with the young guys, even you go to Hagens and Reichel, each of them had 1 or 2 chances to maybe score. Minten made a great pass in game 1 that Geekie didn't close out. That was like the best offensive play from any of the young guys. So I think again, it just goes to they might not. I think they're good. I think all the young guys are very responsible. They learn how to play responsibly. And for all of them in the offseason, especially Minten and Husnudinov, they're going to want to learn and work on their offensive skills, their offensive play around the net and around the goal to get better.
So we had talked about the Bruins offense during the course of the series, and they had a hard time scoring. Well, those 2 guys in particular were a big part of the committee. And Fraser Minten would tell you, and I'm sure you guys have had this conversation with him or maybe with some of the other young guys in the team, that the offense was a lot easier to come by during the regular season. No easy offense in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the other thing that I think that was notable and listening to a guy like Fraser Minten is that some guys who were on long-term deals, they wouldn't necessarily change hits or chase hits or be physical during the regular season. Well, that changed in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And that goes to your point, Razer, where all that room, all those opportunities, they're diminished or gone.
Yeah, and I don't know if we got Razer still, right?
I'm here.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, yep.
Speaking of hard-working goals, I want to talk about this. We get the Pastrnak goal from last night at the 154 mark of the second, and the place is jumping. Fine, it's going, right? And by the way, I thought the fans were great last night. I think they heeded David's plea after Game 5.
No, that was a Friday crowd, eh, Razer?
Yeah, that was good. That
wasn't the Sunday afternoon at 2:00 crowd. That was a Friday night special for sure. It was great right from the start.
They were into it. But you want to talk about a hardworking goal, a playoff goal that was both as a hockey person impressive, and then as a Bruins person disappointing, I guess, discouraging. It was the Benson goal, Razer. Because Doan, it was a botch play off the offensive zone face-off between Hampus Lindholm and David Pastrnak. It's a interchange it's an interchange play, face-off play. Pass isn't great. Pasta doesn't connect with it. And then the Sabres go the other way, and then Benson outworks not one but 2 guys. Or Doan, I beg your pardon, outworks 2 guys. And then missed coverage. And, Hampus doesn't get back either. I mean, to me, that was that moment, the seminal moment in the game where that's where you felt like they just aren't going to do it. Would you agree, Razer?
Oh, that was the end of the game, yeah. I mean, especially because I'm thinking up in the booth, Doan gets kicked out. Was it Doan or Norris gets kicked out of the face-off dot up against Pavel Zacha? You got your top line out there. Benson's out there. They just iced the puck. They're exhausted. The Bruins have the Buffalo Sabres under siege. Buffalo looks completely out of sorts. They're throwing pucks. They're nervous to try and finish the series off. I'm thinking as that face-off is the puck's being dropped, this is perfect. This couldn't be a better scenario. They're going to run a play. They're going to get David on the wagon wheel. They're going to open something up, and for whatever reason, the play explodes. I don't know if Buffalo brought 2 guys up high. Maybe that might have been done by accident, that it ended up working out, because 2 guys shouldn't go where they were. Like, Doan shouldn't be that high up along with Benson, because if Lindholm just holds on to that puck and goes down, they have a 3-on-2 at the net. But it all worked out for Buffalo in that situation. And yeah, when you make a drop pass or a backhanded pass in the offensive zone and it doesn't connect at the blue line, you're in trouble. And there was, the error. Everybody knew at that point that you're not, the series is over, but for all intensive purposes.
Well, Hampus Lindholm had mentioned, I think, after the game that he's like, listen, that puck should have gone to the net. I know we try and run that face-off play, but the play to be made was to get that puck down low, and the Bruins weren't able to do that. And again, across the 6 games, we talk about small margins. There were some decisions that needed to be better for the Bruins, and that was a costly one there in Game 6.
Oh, was it ever? That's the time where you make a play that you're like, okay, this is what we've worked on. This is how it's supposed to look. And, you're involving your guy, your big-time point producer in Pastrnak. So that's what I'm guessing what Hampus is thinking. And as soon as the play was made, I think he had that moment. If he had the old bubble above his head, oh, you know what? This isn't good. Now, the Bruins still had an opportunity, though, to regroup. And when I say regroup, meaning kill the play and stuff, one guy actually beat 3. It's just unbelievable. And by the way, Zach Benson, what a disturber. Hey, he's good. He's a first-round pick from 2023, Razer. He's putting up numbers. I mean, 43 points this year in the regular season. He's a pain in the ass. Reminds you of a former Boston Bruin a bit, lefty shot and everything early, right, in his career. All right, Razer, way to work, buddy. Way to work. You worked hard. You did. 19 minutes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
You did. You were on time. We didn't get to
I was ready.
You were. You're very ready. I can only imagine how Razer was walking into the airport at 5:32 in the morning. I can only imagine.
That was brutal.
If anybody, like, Razer's the most normal goalie I've met. Really. Maybe the most normal ever I've met. But people, and he's always calm and everything, but every once in a while he can get Razer rage.
Yeah.
Rage.
Yeah, I had some Razer rage when the alarm was going off at 2:57 this morning to get out of bed. That was pretty brutal.
2:57? Yeah. Who sets it for 2:57?
I was trying to grab every second I could, Judd. Every single second. And then the highway exit was closed, so I had to turn around on Mass Pike and go all the way. I was
worst.
not happy.
That's
that
the
was
worst.
bad.
There's nothing worse than that. Or, actually, the only thing that's worse is when you leave the Garden and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get home, and you miss it by 17 seconds. Like they're slowing the lanes down on the Pike at 11-something, and you're like, I'm not getting home now for another 40 minutes.
Home.
I know, but sometimes
I get sucked into it too.
All right, Razer. You and I will talk. I don't know. We'll talk later today or tomorrow. All right, I'm heading down to Tampa, so maybe we'll talk tomorrow from Tampa. Okay. Be good, Razer.
See you guys.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for filling.
Okay. We appreciate that. I don't know. All of a sudden, we lost Razer. All right. We've got one more segment here. Surratt in for Razer. We'll talk one more segment here. And we got to give you the Apex most entertaining moment of the week. We'll do that when we come back. This is Saturday Morning Brew, Jaffe and Razer with Surratt.
WEEI, New England Sports Original.
FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WEEI, and FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the NBA playoffs. We're talking special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. Best part, it's every single day. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Just go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Hope is here. GamblingHelpLineMA.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Must be 21 or older and present in Massachusetts. Connect with a Playwell advisor at playwell.org.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
John Sewer and Drain Cleaning is the name to know when your drains don't flow. If your home or business has a clogged drain, call the name trusted by the pros. John Sewer is also hiring technicians at their Norwood location to handle growing demand in southeastern Massachusetts. To join New England's most experienced team, go online to johnsewer.com to apply today.
The name to know when the drains don't flow. John Sewer, we get the job done.
Hey, it's Tiki Barber with a special message for any local business owner looking to diversify your income. Amazon Hub Delivery is making it easy to earn extra money. When you partner with Amazon Hub Delivery, you and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area. With each package delivered, you'll gain extra income and exposure for your business. There's no upfront cost, no delivery experience, and no long-term contracts required. Get started today at Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
Take a look. Reed's Ferry Sheds wants you to take a look at the sheds sold at the big home improvement store. They're made with particle board. And we both know when particle board meets water, it turns to fall apart particle board. For the same price, you could own a better built Reed's Ferry shed, backed by a 30-year warranty, installed by Reed's Ferry. Call Reed's Ferry this week and schedule your installation.
Call 888-85-SHEDS.
Need a shed? If it says Reed's Ferry, you got a good one.
Reed's Ferry Sheds. When you walk into Reed's Ferry, you're the most important thing that's happened to us all day.
We're going to give you our undivided attention. We have acres of sheds on display here. You're going to see it. You're going to get inside it. It's going to have Reed's Ferry on it, and you know you got a good one.
And so good looking, you could put it in the front yard. Reed's Ferry Sheds. We deliver, we install. All you have to do is make the call.
Call 888-85-SHEDS.
You need a shed? If it says Reed's Ferry, you got a good one.
What if you had $50,000 to get your home ready to sell for top dollar? Even the smallest repairs and upgrades will make a big difference in your home's sale price. This is Anthony Lamacchia at Lamacchia Realty. Before you sell as is and leave money on the table, consider using the Lamacchia Market Ready program. With this program, you could get up to $50,000 to prepare your home to sell for more, and nothing is due until closing. Visit LamacchiaMarketReady.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Saturday Morning Brew on WEEI is brought to you by Apex Entertainment in Marlboro. With 100,000 square feet of pure fun, we continue with Saturday Morning Brew, hosted by Billy Jaffe and Andrew Razer Raycroft on WEEI.
All right, last segment for this show. I believe, and I say I believe, I'm not going to tell you 100%. I think we're back next week, Razer and I, for one more show here on Saturday Morning Brew. With Jaffe and Razer. Again, we're going to have a full podcast. We're going to put out most likely either Monday or Tuesday a season in review, Razer and I. I'm headed to Tampa later today to do the Game 7, Tampa and Montreal. What a crazy tight series that has been. Razer's on the road right now, too, across the border, doing some work up there. So we're on the go, but we'll be doing another full pod. And again, hopefully, right, David, next week? You want to work next week again, don't you, buddy?
Oh, I'm down.
There you go. Okay. That's all that matters. Judd Surratt sitting to my left today. Again, we just had Razer come in. Let's do the Apex most entertaining play of the week, brought to you by Apex Entertainment. It's 100,000 square feet of pure fun. Go check them out up in Marlboro. I'm going to let you, the guest host, give me the most entertaining moment of the week. I kind of think I know where you're going.
Oh, it's David Pasternak's overtime winner in Game 5, and then he scored again last night. So the numbers that he has in elimination games, they're tremendous. So he now has 9 goals, 15 points in 18 games. But the play that he made, and yeah, it was triggered by Hampus Lindholm, and the turnover was started by Marat Hustadinov. But to be able to drag the line, you got a big D on your back. You're going full speed, game on the line in overtime, and he's able to make the move and tuck it in at the near post on Alex Lyon. That was a spectacular play. He's a big-time player.
It was spectacular. Very few people in the league can do that. We had a fun breakdown of it last night. Loved it from an angle that we hadn't seen in the game, and it was awesome. It was just awesome to watch. And, you know, I always say the same thing, so bear with me. You know, super slow-mo is really a great tool for an analyst to have in the game, right? And it's awesome for the fans. Sometimes it's actually, when I say not good, it's always good, but it makes it look too easy. And you don't understand how hard some of those things are. You know, the left foot, the inside edge, the outside edge, the width that he separates himself with. It was
the timing, the read,
everything. Just the ability and to make Lyon think, you know, Lyon's got to make a read there. He's going to go to his backhand because that's the obvious play as a righty there. You're going to go to the backhand. But where he had held the puck, if he puts it in front of him, then it's a dead giveaway on the deke. He actually didn't even keep it to that, you know, between 12 and 3 at like 1:30. He kept it almost to his side, which really gave him multiple looks of what he could do. It was a wonderful play, and no question. The most entertaining moment of the week is always presented by Apex Entertainment. Pasternak finished with 3 goals and 4 assists. He was a -7. Morgan Geekie, 2 goals and 2 assists, -1. Pavel Zacha, a -7 as well with 1 goal and 2 assists. Victor Arvidsson being out of the lineup. Huge loss? Well, they weren't clicking. They did game 2 after not good game 1. To me, that was a big difference in this series. Not just Victor, but that second line was such an identity line this year, such a calming influence line this year. That was a major difference in these playoffs.
And remember, you know, I think Marco Sturm gave those guys a little poke after game 1.
Absolutely.
And they responded with a big game 2. But if we think back to the formula of what made the Bruins a 100-point team during the regular season, it was that line was basically – they were together for months, that line and the fourth line. It was the other 2 lines that sort of had some flux, and then once that started to get broken up, well, now you're starting to chip away at the formula that made the Bruins a success.
And let's get one other big success story this year even in the playoffs, was Jeremy Swayman. He had very few moments this year, but where you're like, oh, no, he'd like to have that one back. But in particular in the playoffs, was there one? Was there one where you said, oh, come on, like, you got to have that one, you know, again, easy to sit there and talk about from the 5th or the 9th floor. But he was absolutely stout. Absolutely stout. He brought it every game. And Buffalo, to their credit, they did. They got much more traffic in front of him than the Bruins did in front of the Sabres goalies.
And created odd man chances. No, there's not a single head scratcher that I can think of across 6 games. He gave you exactly what you were looking for. He's been terrific when the games are on the line. His numbers in elimination games also fabulous. So if there was one player in particular, and I know we're not going to talk about the season in general, that you needed to have bounce back this season, it was Jeremy Swayman. And not only did he bounce back, but he played better than ever, and he's in the Vezina conversation.
Yeah, and we can touch on that quickly before we wrap things up here on this Saturday, Brew. He's a finalist along with Andrei Vasilevsky and Ilya Sorokin. I don't think he's going to win it. I think Vasilevsky's going to. By the way, Vasilevsky has struggled mightily in the last 3 years in the playoffs. Mightily.
Well, the numbers are not good.
No, and the eye test isn't good either. And you think, oh, it's different, but his regular season stats, he brought it. He did, right? I mean, he was the guy. But Jeremy Swayman was really, really good in these playoffs. But the Bruins and him, even him, have another level to go if they want multiple levels, not just for him, but I'm saying for the team to get where they want to be. All right. Listen, they got beat by a better team. They did. Buffalo's better. This was their year. Buffalo also handled the road better, just like the Bruins kind of did. The difference being in this series that they found a way to win on the road. You know, and I guess when it mattered most, they didn't look good at home in Game 5. And sometimes you got to say, all right, you tip your helmet to them. You say that they were able to figure it out for Game 6.
Well, it's fascinating because if you think about it, I think some of the concerns heading into the series, well, the Bruins, they weren't a great road team.
They looked good on the road, yeah.
In this series,
yeah.
Well, the Bruins, they take a lot of penalties, and their penalty kill, it really had some issues this year. They allowed one power play goal in the entire series.
Yeah.
Yes, they did take a couple of minors there in the first period that started to diminish some of their game in the opening stanza. I know we really haven't talked about Game 6 in particular, but after Alex Tuck scores to get Buffalo on the board, now you got to kill a couple of penalties, so you're unable to really bounce back as quickly as you would like to during the course of the game. But those two things in particular, those concerns you may have had, that wasn't your undoing in the series.
Sometimes I guess it goes to show, playoffs. We know this. They're a whole different beast, it's a whole different season. And what you think you know, you don't always know. Well, I know that this is a great show, and we appreciate you sitting in, bud. Listen, we need to do it next time, like pod with beers and, whatever, just things all over the place. This is a little more formal here.
Those are the type of brews I'm talking about.
Of course. That's where we will get to. Thanks to everybody listening and are watching today. I hope the Life of Z was enjoying it. I hope. Z, as always, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Thanks, Z.
Thanks, Z. David, thanks, buddy. We will talk to you, we hope, one more Saturday. Bruins lose the game, and they lose the series, 4-2 to the Buffalo Sabres. We'll talk to you next week here on Saturday Morning Brew. Jaffe and Razer.
Jones and Keefe.
Jay's in North Carolina.
Hey guys, listening to your program is hysterical. It's like listening to verbal machine guns at one of the. You're doing a linguistic pirouette. Funny as hell. You guys are good.
Okay. Thanks, Jay. Jay, good stuff. Thanks for the comments, Jay.
Did you miss something? Listen to the podcast on the Odyssey app or at WEEI.com. Jones and Keefe, middays 10 to 2 on New England Sports Original. WEEI.
Boneless chicken is now on sale at Shaw's and Star Market. Purdue boneless chicken breast, thin sliced or tenders, just $2.99 a pound when you use a digital coupon. Limit 2. Save more with the 4U coupons. Shaw's and Star Market, proud to be local since 1860.
Hi, it's Renee with Window World. Our happy customers have us growing fast, so we're expanding our sales team with talented outside sales consultants. At Window World, we're the Bay State's premier window and exterior modeling company, and we pride ourselves on being a family-owned and operated business. Now we're looking to grow that family with motivated individuals with exceptional communication skills who know how to provide customer satisfaction. At Window World, we invest in our people and give them the tools to succeed. Stop wasting your time and talent in sales development running low-quality leads. This is an opportunity to consistently earn an above-average income, including benefits. Representing superior products, so call Eric today at 781-514-8029. That number again is 781-514-8029. Or go to our careers page at windowworldofboston.com. Join Window World and be part of a team that transforms homes while making a difference in the community. Window World, simply the best for less.
Hey guys, it's Ted Johnson. If you have joint pain from a new injury, an old injury, or arthritis, eliminate that pain without surgery. Like me, Bruce relied on Dr. Franke at Boston Prolotherapy.
I've had some growing problems with my knees, old football injuries that I'm now starting to feel, and had been through minor surgery and then a series of cortisone treatments that just were not doing much for me. So I went to see Dr. Franke and tried the prolotherapy, and that was now 2.5 years ago, and I've absolutely been pain-free and inflammation-free for that entire period. It used to be I'd have to get a cortisone shot, every 6 months, and I have not required any of those shots. So it really is a miracle. Dr. Franke is the way to go.
Stop trying to mask your pain. With just a short course of prolotherapy treatments, you can eliminate your pain for the long term. Schedule your complimentary phone consultation today at bostonprolotherapy.com or call 1-833-GO-PROLO.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy.
So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Is foot pain keeping you from living the life you love? Hi, it's Phoebe with the Good Feet store. Life is too short to be living with foot, knee, hip, or back pain. When all 4 arches in your feet are supported, the results can be amazing. Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Quentin Tarantino's new action thriller from Wu-Tang Clan visionary, RZA's One Spoon of Chocolate. A man finds himself in a town where even the law can't be trusted, and he's ready to strike back. Enter for a chance to win tickets at WEEI.com. See it starting May 1st.
Hey, it's Jones for Verizon. Looking for a great deal to stay connected? Now, for a limited time, new Verizon mobile and home customers can get Fios and a line of mobile for just $69.99 a month with AutoPay. Get Fios 300 megabit per second for $20 a month and unlimited welcome for $50 a month, plus taxes and fees when you bring your own phone. Visit Verizon store today to learn more and switch. For new Fios internet and mobile customers, discounts applied over 36 months. Mobile and home discount enrollment is required. Additional terms apply. In terms of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds.
Son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics. Start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
In construction, the best pros don't just take any job, they join the right team. Cranshaw Construction is hiring superintendents, project managers, and VDC professionals at all experience levels. Build projects that matter, from multifamily housing to life science and corporate interiors, right here, across Boston and the surrounding area. Think like an owner, do what it takes, and build your career. Find your next role at Cranshaw.com. That's Cranshaw.com.
Federal guidelines have nearly doubled the number of Americans eligible for lung cancer screening. Insurance companies are required to cover these tests for those ages 50 to 80 who currently smoke or used to smoke. Along with new treatments, lung cancer screening saves lives. If you are 50 to 80 years old and smoke or used to smoke, talk to your doctor about lung cancer screening. For more information and to find a screening center near you, visit acr.org/mylcs. That's acr.org/mylcs.
From the Catches Law Injury Attorney Studios, every game, all season, the Sox play here. 93.7 WEEI-FM and HD1, Lawrence, Boston, and Odyssey Sports Station.
This hour of Mego and Chime is brought to you by Shaw's and Star Market, proud to be local since 1860.
This is the Big Dog Show with Mego and Chime. Megan Ottolini and Chris Chime on WEEI.
Arf, arf, it's the Big Dog Show! Happy Saturday morning. It's Mego and Shime here on Boston Sports Original WEEI. Mego, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited for that new open and the new name of our show from 9 to 12 as we take over the Ken and Curtis slot. We do need to add in some DMX barks.
Yeah, we definitely need some more barks in there.
So that's
for sure.
that's our initial open. We're going to improve it. We're going to improve it with some DMX barks.
Yep.
And then we'll be ready to cruise.
Oh, we'll be cooking. Yeah, our wonderful imaging guys, Damon and Justin, combined those two names. Good job by me to start here. Sent me over both the finished version and the cold version, so I can go in and edit the cold version.
Perfect.
And then,
Were they horrified by what the station is becoming?
I don't think so. It was done very quickly, so it seems like it was energized.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a lot of energy behind it.
You think they got juiced up by the announcement of the Big Dog Show?
I think they're all about the big dogs.
Okay, I mean, there were some major promotions around the station, one of them being Ken to the Afternoons, with Rich Tenen. Oh, my God. What is it with the name of this show, dude? Every time, okay,
Rich,
the new
Ken,
afternoon show, Rich, Ken, and Ted. Every time I try to say it, can we just call it like...
RKT out of nowhere.
RKT? Let's call it RKT.
We talked, a week or so ago about how you find collegiate wrestlers weird, but you're totally fine with guys liking WWE.
Yeah.
WWE wrestler Randy Orton does the RKO out of nowhere. We should call them RKT out of nowhere.
I don't know if that's like a... Hey,
Is
maybe
that
for our
a bit?
audience. No,
Yeah.
maybe I was going to say, I don't know if that's mainstream enough, but maybe for
fair
our
enough.
audience it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, anyway, because that big old promotion to afternoons, we're taking over, it seems, this slot because our boss said, hey, when do you, well, first I was like, hey, when are we working this weekend? And he was like, hey, when do you want to work? And I was like, well, I don't, 9, fine.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I think you jumped in on that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
he texted us after you had texted him. He texted us. He goes, Saturday, 9 to noon. I'm like, I'll be there. I'm in.
yeah, but then that became every Saturday.
Yeah, I noticed. Hey, that's fine.
Which is
Honestly,
great. We're taking over the slot.
Well, especially because, and now you're understanding this, on a Saturday, this is sleeping into me. Like, I got to sleep in for an extra 3.5 hours, 4 hours this morning, which I feel electric. Like, I feel lovely.
So I know we're going to do a ton of Bruins. We have, obviously, Game 7 of Celtics to preview, little Red Sox to react to, a little continuation of the Diana Rossini / Vrabel saga, and anything that you want to get into around Patriots football. But after the Bruins game last night, were you of the mentality of, like, just turn the TV off, go straight to bed?
Yes.
Or you were just done?
I was done. I was like, what did I watch this for? Why did I stay up?
Did you have a moment in the second period where you like, this might be it?
Yeah, so as soon as I saw the Pasternak goal, I'm like, okay. I texted my buddy. I'm like, all right, we're alive. This isn't dead just yet. In the first period, I thought, oh, man, this is going to be another 6-1 blowout. I'm in for it. But then the Pasternak goal came in the second period. Things seemed to start looking better for the Bruins. They were getting better possessions. I felt like they were being a little bit more aggressive. They seemed a little bit more polished in that period. And then, 6 minutes into the third period, Buffalo scored again, and I was like, okay, this game's over. Like, there's no way you're coming back from this now. The Bruins just couldn't put the puck in the net. The entire series, it felt like. Even in Buffalo, I think the reason you won all those games is because Jeremy Swayman was spectacular. I think that is why you were as close to this team as you were, is because your goalie was head and shoulders above their goaltenders, and your offense just wasn't good enough. I think defensively, you need a total kind of like readjustment of what you want to do there, because Hampus Lindholm, to me, has been a major disappointment since that record-setting season. He just hasn't been what he was then.
What has happened to him?
I don't know. I know there was an injury mixed in between, right? He had the knee injury, but even still, like, he's not even close. And maybe it's a system thing where he just thrived in what Jim Montgomery liked to do, and with Marco Sturm, maybe not so much. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Hampus Lindholm. And Nikita Zadorov, to me, is just, what a waste of a contract that was. That was just a disastrous contract. They tried to get big bad Bruins and bring him back, and instead he just leads the league in penalty minutes, and he stinks.
We're having some conflicting reactions to the new name of the show.
Oh,
Someone
boy.
is extremely happy with Big Dog Show. Someone else said, who the hell came up with that name? The name is in reference.
Should we give them like a little backstory on the Big Dog Show? I got to meet Drake May this week, brag, and I got to have a catch with him, another brag. And then on top of that, I, after playing catch with him, walked up, dapped him up, and called and said, "Hey, thanks, Big Dog."
Which I just melted into the floor. When Greg sent me that clip, all I wrote back was "big dog, crying face, melting face." Melting face emoji is my new favorite. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Okay.
Whenever I send you like a bitchy tweet about something that I think is cringe, it's always melting. I'm melting into the floor. That made me melt into the floor for you.
Yeah, thank
because I
you.
know you call everyone that.
Yeah,
but
but
this is the guy that you currently revere probably above anybody else in the world, right?
Without a doubt.
Or am I
And-
exaggerating?
No.
Like, is there anybody that you could have been more
Starstruck by? Not a
or
human.
just like impressed with meeting them in person?
No, that could have been Leonardo DiCaprio, and I would have been perfectly fine. Like the biggest movie star on the planet, you name him, I would have been perfectly fine. Like, there's nobody on the planet that would have made me like fangirl or be more starstruck than Drake May. There's nobody.
We have definitely had like the starstruck conversation before, but I first and foremost am terrible at identifying famous people.
Yeah.
Athletes is different because you see them in the locker room a lot, or I do, and so in the job, and so usually I can identify them if they're walking around Boston.
Yeah.
But a movie star, I'm actually pretty bad at recognizing them when they're out in the wild. Now when I see, if I know that there's a famous person, because this is where society is, when I see them, I'm just curious to look and see what surgical enhancements they've had.
How much Botox have they had?
No, way beyond that.
Oh.
I'm looking like, okay, is there a facelift going on here? Because I don't
BBL
know,
action.
I don't know if you, and I promise we'll get back to hockey. I promise.
We got plenty of time. We got 3 hours today, Mego.
Because
We can derail a little
the
bit.
Bruins are going to need a bit of a facelift in the offseason. But
yeah.
I was watching TV, and my husband, there's like all these Lindsay Lohan commercials for something that are
Okay.
all the time.
She's
where
making
she's
a
like
comeback.
playing with a dog toy or something. I don't know what it's
Okay.
for. But
Shout
my
out Lindsay
husband
Lohan.
was like, Lindsay Lohan looks healthy again. Like, is this like sobriety? What's going on? I was like, no, she got a facelift.
Yeah.
Like, she very much got a facelift. And he said, what's a facelift? And I was like, do men not know what's
Hold
going
on.
on in the
So-
streets with surgical enhancements? You don't know what a
Your
facelift-
husband's a lovely gentleman, and
Yeah.
I feel like very much so. He is